to do with the development over on Londell, and one has to do with a change in the zoning over off the west side of the road near Arnold subdivision. Actually, part of Arnold subdivision. So we're gonna go ahead and open the public hearing. David?
Thank you. It's kind of weird given this presentation, not sitting at that seat like I normally do. So the first one tonight is the Enclave at Londell. It's a zoning amendment to change property from R3 to R4 in order to construct 12 single-family homes at 2162 Londell, which is right near Deborah Lane. This application went before the Planning Commission on June 10th. Planning Commission voted 4-4, which as a tie does not go forward as an approval, so it failed. However, the City Council is able to overrule that by their own majority vote. Mr. Sweeney can speak to the details of what the code says if you'd like to, but that's the short version. I'll say that the developer, Hardy Built LLC, originally came to the Planning Commission with a slightly more dense development, I believe 15 units, and Planning Commission asked that they reduce the density, so it went down to 12. But like I said, it was a 4-4 tie. I'd be happy to answer any questions that the council might have.
City Council for comments or questions on this item?
What was the issues to where people voted against it?
You know, I wasn't actually present, but Councilmember MacArthur was. Maybe you could speak to that.
Yeah, I don't really know what the problem was. Sometimes, I mean, everybody has, just like up here, everybody has their own opinions. If you ask me what the problem was, the only thing, it's a rezoning request, and it's not a PRD, which is planned residential. So once it's zoned R4, it stays R4. But you're still talking the same size lots, even bringing it down to R4. You're still talking about the same type of lots around the area. So it's not like we were zoning at R6 where you're talking about multiple families and giving all kinds of apartments and everything in there. I think they did a really good job of, usually you don't see developers, willing to give up any houses, so they already reduced it down. I think it fits in there. You've got a lot of other properties. There's going to be a lot more decisions made up in there. And everybody keeps talking, we need to give the, the school district some relief, and here we got somebody who wants to come in and put some nice new homes in there, and so I really don't know, but that's the reason I voted for it. I think it's a great plan. I've been doing this a long time. They did exactly what we wanted them to do, and I don't know, so.
I will note that there were 2 planning commissioners absent.
Yeah.
Obviously, we can't say how they would vote one way or the other, but there were 2 absent.
Yeah, that's true.
Rod, you have a hand?
Yeah, just general question, are these lot sizes like consistent with some of our bigger, nicer subdivisions in the area?
When you look at the stretch of road, they weren't terribly far off from what was already there. And if you go a little bit further down Londell, or you look at some of the older developments, those definitely have larger tracts, but the newer subdivisions, they're within like 1,000 or so, 1,500 square feet. Not all of them, but many of them. It's not substantially inconsistent, this is the way you call it.
Hey, Jay.
Yeah, so I do believe that we need some more family in this price range homes. By my calculation, under the current zoning, I mean, it would allow for 11 homes, right?
I believe that's.
So this is only one additional home. It's comparable to the sizes nearby. And then, Rodney's going to answer the question.
Sorry. These are not 1/4 acre lots, or half acre lots.
And the applicant is here if you'd like to hear from them as well.
Well, hear the public comment.
Is there any public comment?
Here, I'll ask him to speak. Anything else from the council? I'd like to open this up to the public if anybody has any comments about this development. Yes, sir. Come on up here, state your name and your address.
One Wigglerill, I live at 2119, which is catty corner to where it wants to build. The problems we brought up last time were water issues, was one of them. The traffic is another. There's already like I-55 trying to get home, and the police can't do a whole lot. The other issue, when they were doing the comparison on the smaller lot sizes, what they're comparing to are homes off of East Highview. They're like 1,000 square foot homes built 60 years ago. The stuff that's right around where they're looking to build are all R2 and R3 sizes, or zoning. So it's, apples and oranges. There's also an issue of water. I don't know if any of you live over there, but our water pressure's already bad. You out and we get like maybe 30 tons of pressure. You can add more homes to that, it's just gonna drop even worse than what it already is.
You have 30 pounds of pressure at your house, that's unbelievably low. It's
Yes,
supposed to be
and I've had the water company out there and they said, it's because of all the homes. You get that many houses, we're too far away from the water tower to get any kind of water pressure. So you add more homes to that, it's just gonna add to the problem. That's my big issue with it.
All right, thank you. Anybody else?
Yes.
Yes, please come up. As before, state your name and address.
I'm Kevin Betzer, 1729 Deborah Lane. Basically, one of the main issues is the water. We're the 2-3 houses that all the water gets taken. I mean, it all gets flowed into our backyard, floods us out already. And it's in the middle of that property. It's not what they're gonna do on Londell or anything else. It's the middle of that property is where the water problem is. It goes all the way down through. The other thing is quickly was the people that owned that, their name was Manfredi, but they lived in the South City. They wanted some land on the outskirts of town, basically to farm. They farmed it for years. So what I'm saying is that the land is more than 0.27 acres or 2-3 acres around there. And, I'm joking.
It's all right.
It basically, I also own a piece of property on Pommy. When I went to buy that, it was on 0.67 of an acre, and I begged that man to sell me the other 0.67 of an acre so I could have some land. 1729, it's not basically a big acre lot, but it's a half acre. And the last I known, there was only 4 to 5 homes to be on that land, not 11. And I think that's too much. I mean, they got 52 acres right there on Pommy that they just crammed a ton of homes in. You try to get out of Pommy and Old May Ferry on any given evening, you're gonna be there a while. Traffic is enormous. They ain't got the roads ready to keep plowing houses in for more property tax. The people that in that area, they've been there forever. I mean, I don't think they want their property tax to just totally triple and then have to sit there and pay property tax on that. I mean, I think it's on the outskirts of town and they're bigger areas, and I think that's where they need to stay. I don't think they need to cram 13, 14 homes, and once you approve the zone, they can try to do something else. I mean, like I said, I don't feel that 11 homes should ever go in there. And the water problem, they're gonna have to run new water all the way out to Pommy. I mean, the whole backyards and everything flood there on Deborah Lane. That's,
Well, thank you for coming up, and your 3 minutes left.
All right,
Appreciate
thank you.
your comments. Yes, sir.
Scott Betzer, 1729 Deborah Lane. And yeah, that was approved 8 years ago. There was, it was approved for 4 homes. Now you're gonna try to put 12 in, and he's exactly right. You ain't gonna fix the stormwater issues that plague us. And it comes from that property. And these guys ain't gonna go in there and fix all these problems. We're getting all that drainage from everything above, trying to run it through minuscule pipes, trying to get this water out towards Pommy. I don't know, it, just like he said, to me, you know, how the council can approve this when you've heard from the people, they don't want 11 homes over there, cause you're gonna half flood it. You know, our problems are gonna still exist and exist more. Help fix the problems you got.
Is it? Yes, ma'am.
Me? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you said so.
No, I didn't say that.
I didn't say so. Okay. This
I'll
is-
control her.
Good luck, sir.
We're Bob and Faye White, and we live right next door to that, we're 2134 Londell.
Okay.
I have about 7 pictures that the water that they're talking about, that my husband actually took one day, this was on 7/17/24, after a heavy downpour, and this reflects about what we're talking about, the water and everything, but I'd like to submit these if you wanna share them or take a look at
Of course, bring what we're here to do.
Okay?
Now, don't misunderstand this, this don't happen every
No,
time it
no, it
rains.
doesn't happen every rain or whatever, but it's quite significant. And it comes from above us, and, you know, there's pictures there where big garages behind our house, and you can see how that water's flowing, and it goes right through our property, goes into where they're going to build these houses. And we're really concerned about how are they gonna control the water, would you open yourself up for lawsuits if they built homes and then they start getting leakage in their basements? And another thing that we'd like to address, and I think we talked to Drew earlier, we're concerned about, naturally with the subdivision, you're gonna have children, and that's fine, and they like to play. But if you've got all these backyards butting up to our property, we're concerned about the kids coming over, adults, that could go there and maybe fall on our property and they wanna sue us or something. So we would request that they put a fence in that would keep our property separate. Our property, we're about 1.5 acres, and we've been there 45 years. And that water issue's always been there. You know, it doesn't come into our basement because our house is up further. We did not build anything down there in the valley because of the water issues. When we got ready to build a garage, we built it inside, behind our house. Anything else, Bob?
Yeah, what I'd like to say is, when you look at these pictures and you see all that water down in that, retention pond, or whatever you wanna call it, that has a complete cut through that dam down there about 3 feet wide. Maybe I may be off a little bit, but not much. And so all the time that pond's filling up down there, it's also running full blast through that dam. So you're gonna have a lot of water issues down there. And then you go putting in streets, driveways, roofs, sidewalks, and it's just gonna run harder and faster down there. So I believe that should be the first issue that's taken care of is that. And believe me, unless you live in the area, you probably don't have any idea how much water that comes in there, because that property sits down like in the bottom of a big bowl. And wherever place you look is uphill. And it starts coming downhill. When you hit the stop sign on Londell Road, you go down about 3 houses and it starts going downhill that way. And it's not only going downhill that way, if you look across Londell Road, it's coming down this way. Everywhere you look, it's downhill.
I appreciate your 3 minutes is up. so
Thank you.
that-
Let's go.
I mean,
We didn't get
I
6
just
minutes.
wanna let you know that David's here and we can talk to some of these things, because that is part of the consideration from a staff report. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right, is there anybody else? Yes, please.
Virginia Waldman, 2137 Londell.
Just step up.
Can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry. I just moved there, so I haven't been there very long, but I know soils, I know hydrology. I spent 20 years doing archaeology. I'm very aware of how water moves through there. First off, I bought this house because I wanted to live where people aren't living on top of each other. If I wanted to live like that, I would have stayed in St. Louis County. But the problem I see is if you put in drainage ditches and storm drains and all that, you're only kind of, you're mitigating the problem, but you're not getting rid of the problem, because you're going to have hydrostatic pressure from the subsurface water that's going to run across the sheet flow, and it will undermine things. It will start taking out people's foundations and basements, especially when you have the whole area draining towards that. So it's the soil hydrology, and I've looked at that online. You have very porous soil, so that water is always going to be there moving across, even sometimes days after it rains. So we need to, whatever they're doing, they need to be aware of. That's potential, and I personally believe if you put more than like 4 houses on that, you're going to cause a lot of hydrostatic pressure in the soil. And it's not just gonna affect the houses they build there, but it will affect everybody on Deborah Lake.
Thank you for your time. Sure.
Courtney and Josh Weber, 2124 Londell Road. We're just 2 properties over, but I wanted to write down my thoughts. But I know we're talking about the rezoning, and how we do appreciate the desire for growth. This change to us would bring more serious long-term issues into our area. I know the proposal is changing the zoning, so we can basically move from 11 to 12, but I know if we do move that zoning, then it has the ability to go up to 17 homes. And the reality is, I know that they'll probably max out that 17, even though they're only saying 12, because that's typically how it always is. I know that people have touched on the traffic in that area, but if there is, younger families that live there, there's already lots of traffic during rush hours or the school buses, stuff like that. And it is, not only is it, I know they're working on widening it slightly, but it also is very hilly there, and I know people already fly up and down over those hills. I know, again, don't want to touch on the drainage problem again, but it is very huge, and just for, again, 2 houses for that property, and we just had to basically dig down to our entire foundation and reseal it all just this past year, out of our own pockets because of this. I know there's also lots of wildlife right there, so there's deer that's from across the street that come over there, and I know at least once a year, there is a car accident there because of this, and again, that's right where the proposed entrance to the subdivision, is supposed to be. And then I know it was brought up during the last meeting, but I'd like to also point out that, to me, there's already lots of other developments in the greater Arnold area. You have the Henley Woods, which isn't fully developed yet. There's phase 2 that they're still working on. There's all the neighborhoods popping up across the Sacrament schools, and then the new one there at the corner of Lowell and Old May Ferry. So to me, I don't think it's really necessary in that tight space to fit so many houses with all the other concerns that are happening. Again, not only is it flooding the houses that are kind of currently there, but you're also at risk to have the houses that you're building get a turnaround and flood, especially if they're in that valley part.
Thank you for coming up. Anyone else? Did I hear the developers here? Did you have something to say?
Yeah, be back.
Please.
So Drew's gonna pass out some of the exhibits just to kind of have a visual of what we're talking about.
Can you identify yourself?
Yes. Sorry about that. My name is Igor Rusev. I'm with Hennigan Associate Engineers. I'm on behalf today of Hardyville Homes. To kind of talk about the project a little bit. I'm not gonna do the full presentation, but I'm gonna try to stress out and kind of answer some questions that people have concerns about over. Real quick, so what we're proposing to do is 12 lots. I know there's some numbers thrown out there as far as you can do 17 and everything else. Number one, the density doesn't work that way. So you gotta account for streets, you gotta account for right of way, you gotta account for detention areas and everything. So by the time you take all those areas out, your density goes with Articulate, so you don't have 17 potential. We looked at the 15 before. We spoke with the planning department. We spoke with the feedback from the commission, from the planning commission, and we took those considerations. We worked it out, and we've reduced we modified the plan and reduced the lot count. We increased the lot sizes. We increased the width of the lots. Again, kind of hearing what the concerns are. Also with the Londell improvements coming into the area, there will be some sidewalks put into the system. Roads are going to be wider. They're going to be putting curbs. They're going to be putting stone inlets. Some of those stone inlets will be discharging directly onto this property. And talking with the planning department, it was advised that we somehow connect those two. And basically what we're planning to do is we're gonna take those discharge points, route them through our system, through the subdivision, run it through the detention system, and then discharge it. So this is an effort to reduce the stormwater. And again, we fully want to comply with the city of Arnold codes and design standards, meaning that we're not going to be asking for any variances. We don't see any modification needs for this development. As far as the 10,000, R4, as opposed to what R3 is in the area, R3 is right next door to the northeast of this property. A lot of those lots are comparable in sizes, so basically I don't see a problem. Basically, we're staying consistent with the neighborhood area as far as the lot size. So it's not really about the squeezing number of homes in here. Actually, again, we took into consideration what the comments were from the planning commission, and we made those attempts to reduce the lot sizes and make it work. So again, stormwater, I understand that, but this is something we go through, which every development, we go through a design process. There's a specific codes written in the city of Arnold that we can be following, and basically our intent is going to be not to increase the lot, not to increase the discharge from the property. In fact, we're going to try to make every effort to reduce it.
Very well. Are you guys satisfied? You guys, your staff prepared the stormwater plan?
They haven't gotten to stormwater yet in detail. This project will still have to go through the planning process, and that's when infrastructure like stormwater is looked at to see that the calculations work out. As the engineer said, there is a detention basin proposed. Stormwater will go to the detention basin and be slowly released over several hours, so that it's not a big inundation of stormwater to the neighbors. It's going to be released at the most the same rate it is today, but they're going to be improving the infrastructure, so hopefully that flows better. But like I said, those details will get worked out during the planning process.
Understood. Thank you for coming.
I have a question for Mr. Right now, we've been having a lot of issues. They've been building a lot of subdivisions, all up Building Mayberry, Pommy, and all that water's got to run somewhere. What it's doing, it's running to the creeks. And when they run into the creeks, the water flow is so strong, it's washing away Mother Earth. And we've had several complaints from some of the subdivisions, because the subdivisions are the actual people that own those creeks, those locations of those subdivisions. I mean, is this gonna affect, make the creeks worse and worse? The landfill away?
So that's why the city has those standards, design standards for the stormwater control. So they have the standards of how do we release water, so we cannot increase the amount of water that runs from the site. So we go through this calculations, sizing the appropriate detention basin, and not to increase the release from the site, therefore not to contribute to those problems that's happening at the creeks. I can go into the detail of how everything's calculated, but it's again, and David, you can let me know that if I'm wrong here. The city has, and the city follows MSD standards on the stormwater detention, stormwater discharges. Basically, we go through the process, sizing the basin, and releasing the water.
Because these subdivisions are responsible for those creeks. Nobody's gonna help them. The homeowners that live in that subdivision have to take care of that issue. The city of Arnold doesn't get involved, am I correct? They don't get involved.
Private property land.
So, I'm just thinking about the homeowners that live around those creeks, because I've been told that the trees, you can see the actual roots around the trees, not the roots washing away that path. And I've heard it from homeowners from back, so I just wanna make sure that doesn't continue happening, we put in another 11 or 12 homes.
Appreciate your time.
Hey, I'm sorry, I just have one more question.
Sure, Rob.
I was listening to the residents speak, and I mean, one of them,
I can't hear you.
I was listening to the residents speak. One of them stated that they had concerns that there would be growth beyond what the number is here. I'm just looking for some assurance that this plan is the plan and you're not gonna try to do more than the 12 up to the allotted 15. If there's some kind of verbal commitment that you might be able to provide.
So, one verbal commitment is, if we go to R4 states that the lot has to be at least 10,000 square feet, minimum in square footage. So, we're beyond that. So, that's one hurdle that will contribute how much you can put in there. Like I also mentioned that by the time you take out the roads, right-of-ways, detention areas, all those things eat up space. So, you will not be increasing your lot count by much, even if you wanted to. Second is, the developer already has a model of a house that he wants to put on the side, and those are quite big, upscale homes. So they're gonna take up a lot of frontage, a lot of space on the lots, so we cannot go to small lots in this. Again, we went through the planning commission, that we've heard what their concerns were, and how much they wanna see the density in this, and we modified the plan accordingly.
And I'll just add, Councilman, that, like I said, it still has to go through the subdivision planning process. So both the planning commission and the council will see that plat. And that's when you actually see the lots laid out as they officially will be built, the roads where they actually are. Because some of this is a little preliminary until they do deeper engineering. But that's when it will come before you in its final form.
Thank you, sir. Okay, that's gonna close the public hearing on this issue. We did? Oh, you?
How did it get to zone 3 anyways?
Yes,
How did
sir.
Lane get to zone 3?
Can you contact David tomorrow and ask him about that? You've already had a chance to talk
I do that.
to this issue. Please call David.
Okay.
City,
I think you
David.
have my number, your brother has my number. one of them.
Okay, thank you, guys. We're gonna open up a public hearing on 1081 West Outer Road, and I'd like to open this up for David to explain.
Sure, 1081 West Outer Road, that's in the northwest quadrant of 55 and 141, south of the Fox Chase Apartments, near Maple Lane, if that gives some context. So this property was going back to the 70s and before, 80s, and before that, it was a sort of a remnant of when 55 was built and expanded. And at some point, a accessory structure, basically a garage, not a house, was constructed, and it was used for an upholstery company. But it was zoned residential, so technically that was not a permitted use. But it was there for a long time. However, as what we call a non-conforming use, once it stops for a certain period of time, it loses that non-conforming status, and whatever goes back there has to meet what zoning is. And as I said, this property is zoned residential. The applicant purchased this property with the intention of putting his real estate office there. And so he is seeking a rezoning from R5 to C4. And what the C4 is, it's what we call a planned commercial district. And what that affords the city is you can limit what uses are permitted in that commercial district. So as proposed here, it's going to be limited to basically professional offices, things of that nature. The planning commission, by a vote of 9-0, recommended its approval of this rezoning, and subject to a number of conditions that are in the packet before you, things to do with fencing and lighting and screening for the neighbors and whatnot. There was a variance sought for this prior to the rezoning. where the applicant, got a variance from the distance from the parking lot to the neighboring properties. The Board of Adjustment, approved that with the condition that a site-proof fence was installed to, prevent, say, car headlights from shining into neighbors' windows now or down the road. And, so this was, recommended for approval, as I said, unanimously, 9-0 by the Planning Commission at their July 8th meeting. I'd be happy to answer any questions, and the applicant is here if he would like to speak at some point as well.
City Council, I didn't ask about this. Yes, Brian.
Yeah, I'd like to say also at the meeting, most of the neighbors, I think there was, what, Dave, like seven or eight of the neighbors directly, that adjoined this property all were in the positive for this, and they have no problem with it moving forward as well.
I think the thinking was like, for real estate
Yeah.
office is pretty, it's not a lot of intent.
Yeah, they were okay with the fence, they were okay with everything, so there's really no objection to this one at all.
Gary?
Yes, that property's been vacant for a while, and nobody's been doing anything with it, so it's been commercial use for years beforehand. I think it's a good fit for the neighborhood.
Thanks. Anybody else? Right. Anybody from the public would like to talk about this? Brad, I know you do.
I think all the neighbors already spoke about what they had. Brad Carey, 1622 Carly Drive. Of course, I live right around the corner from this, and that's why I bought this. Some of you are young enough to know that this building was actually built by Art Gallows, and his small engine repair shop was out of it, and then it got sold to the Baileys, who's had a business license since 1987, and from 1987 until 2002 when he had a stroke, that's when he gave up his business license, didn't apply for it again, and of course, that's when it goes back to that, how it's not commercial. Don't know that answer. But I do have prints here that you can see, I don't see the monitors on. You guys wanna pass around? But yeah, I already went through, first step, of course, was going through variance, because this property is very non-conforming to anything. It's a very odd shape. It's triangular. It's one of the only ones on that side of the street that's not commercial that comes onto the outer road there. And then, does anybody else have any questions? And to reiterate what he said, I went and door knocked all the neighbors around, got their support. They said, well, it's been a commercial as far as we've ever known, so we didn't even know that it was something different. So, in the report, I have their signatures as well. I also have a letter from, Jeff Gallat, the fire marshal, saying that there's no fire problems or anything like that with it being small or anything like that. There is a fire hydrant at the corner. So I tried to do as much due diligence as I could to present you guys with the best availability that I could to make this commercial.
Thank you. I've lived in that neighborhood for many years, so I know about it.
That's right.
Thank you. Anybody else have anything to say on this?
Hey Brad, can we get one copy for the official record?
Hi, I'm Laura with Untitled Land Surveying. You guys have seen me up here multiple times. So thank you for hearing us again for our third meeting. Brad pretty much filled you guys in, and I know we've been harping on this for many meetings, but I just wanted to hit again, because of the odd-shaped triangular lot, it's not even usable for residential purposes at this point. And I know we have a lot of meetings in regards to this, so no matter how it's voting or how it's going, we're gonna be here multiple times trying to get variances and getting this approved. So obviously, we've been working very hard to try to get everything through the lines, and I think having all the signatures of, all the surrounding people, which I know Sarah's worked really hard to put this all in the reports for you guys and have everything ready for you. But this has been commercial since the year 1987. There's always been a commercial business in there. It's never been used as a residence ever. So I think that's all I really wanted to point out and say. Does anybody have any questions for me about this property? All right, thank you.
Anybody else? Now you will. Call the roll, please. Matt Fowler, would you please lead us? Pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Heavenly Father, we ask.
Sorry.
Try again. Dear Heavenly Father, we ask for your guidance and prayers for this city, all the residents, us as council members and leaders, asking for peace and prosperity for everyone, safety, and just continue to guide us through times of change and guide us to making the best decisions possible for the residents. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Rob. Would you conduct a roll call for our meeting?
Warrant.
Here.
E.J. Fleischman.
Here.
Gary Plum.
Here.
Brian MacArthur.
Here.
Mike Reckmeyer.
Here.
Troy Blackshear.
Here.
Rodney Mullen.
Here.
Tim Seidenstricker.
Here.
Dave Colclis.
Here.
Bill Lehman.
Here.
Bob Sweeney.
Here.
Dave Crutchley.
Excuse.
Dave Krupa.
Excuse.
Major Wolrich.
Here.
This come up to business from the floor. If anyone in the audience wishes to address the city council on any matter of city business, you can come forward to the microphone. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll be allowed 3 minutes to present your comments, and this you'll have a chance to speak during the regular scheduled meeting. We've got some folks who would like to talk.
Pat Cross.
Here we go.
Good evening. I talked, last week at the work session, and I was remiss. I didn't welcome the new members, the new council members to the council chamber. And what I like to see from the new council members is all their smiles. Honestly, I don't see that so much in the members that have been around for a while. And it's kind of troubling. I wonder why. They beaten down, is there problems? But I just want to remind you, Mr. Mayor, and because you're new too. I mean, even though you've been on the council, you're new. And I want to remind you why you were elected and why other council members weren't and why the mayor wasn't. It's because you promised transparency. You promised honesty. And that is why we voted you in. That is exactly why. And I want to remind the new council members that sure you represent your own district, your own ward, I should say. And EJ, I emailed you. You're not my ward council member, but you were very nice in responding to me. I contacted Mike. He was wonderful. Answered Gary, not so much. But I want to remind you, like Tim, I've known you since you were this big, but I want to remind you, I know you pointed out the Bay Shore people, and so did you, Bill, and I understand you got street lights. I gotta remind you, all of you guys represent everybody in the city of Arnold. And I've lived in the city for 50 years, lived here since 1973. And the only mayor I don't know is that guy. So I've seen people come and go. And what you gotta learn is you gotta earn respect. People here should give you respect, but you gotta earn it. And Bob, that includes you. You work for the citizens of Arnold.
Ms. Cross.
They pay.
Ms. Cross, direct your attention to me, please.
Okay, that's fine, but I'm just saying, you gotta give respect to earn it, and that's all I've got to say.
Thank you so much.
Keep this in mind.
Next.
Jackson Frick.
Hello, Mayor and council members of Arnold. My name is Jackson Frick.
Can I have your address, please, sir?
Oh, yes, sir. 42 Cypress Creek Lane.
Sir, can you put that back where you found it?
It's part of
Oh.
If that's fine.
I'm not trying to cause any trouble. I'm just a fan of wine of this presentation.
Thank you, I needed that.
I'm a student of second and senior high school and an active volunteer at the Arnold Gateway Food Pantry. And I'm an enthusiast of all things flags. I come here today to speak to you all about the flag of Arnold, how it is dated and unknown, and to discuss how this can be fixed. But first, I'll briefly discuss the importance of the flag. Throughout all of human history, cultures all over the globe have been unified under a single symbol, most notably the flag. The flag is an important and powerful symbol of identity and community. Back to the flag of Arnold. As you can see, the flag of Arnold is overcomplicated and, as I said, outdated, mostly from the older seal. I propose for the city of Arnold to hold a flag redesign competition. I think this will be a great opportunity for the community of Arnold, community involvement and participation. Arnold is a great city with an even greater community. I think with the council's support and promotion of a flag redesign contest go a long way in both celebrating the city of Arnold and recognizing the commitment of this council.
Appreciate that. Can I ask you to come see David and you can take some of your notes? More than anxious to listen to me like this. So am I. Thank you.
Donnie Robbins.
How you doing? My name is Don Robbins. I live at 1521 Stonegate Manor Drive. We're off the Bender. We had a tornado that came through, and we had several trees that was put down, about 80, 100-foot trees. We need help getting this cleaned up. It's in a ditch that is probably a 50-foot deep ditch. So we do need help to get that cleaned up. You clean up the end of the creek, you clean up the beginning of the creek, but you don't clean nothing up in the middle. So what I like for somebody to do is help me get it cleaned up. I got pictures here to show you that.
Okay.
Trees that are down.
What creek is this?
That's off of Bender.
Oh, okay. That's the Lord Ford.
Since we handle the storm drainage, this is also the top of the creek. Once all the trees, rotten, go down in the creek. So I would like to get some help cleaning that up.
What neighborhood is this? This is over near Judy Drive, Bender Lane.
Stonegate Manor.
Little muddy creek runs through there, comes over to the high school.
But earlier you were talking about water building a subdivision and water flows down. This will come through that creek. So you don't know what kind of water you will be dumping all in there.
I get it. Turns into a beaver dam. I get it. Thank you, sir. Can you get in touch with David? I keep saying this, but get in touch with David, because David's our city administrator. I'll give him a call and go look at your problem, see who owns that.
You have cards? I do. But I'll put an interim city administrator.
Mr. Robbins, do you want these back or?
No, give it to me.
Bring them.
Thanks for bringing it to her.
Thank you.
The rest of the speaker cards I have, I think you all have already spoken regarding Londell. Is there anyone else? Mr. Mott?
Card?
Yes. Don't forget you got 3 minutes there, Philip.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Start the clock.
Name and address?
For the record, Philip Motto, State Representative, Jefferson City. I want to thank the council for the last meeting you had. You approved it, from what I understand, Bay Shore for the streetlights going in. And we've had one meeting with residents off of Timbrook Road. I have another one this Saturday at 10 o'clock downstairs for Ward 3, the rest of the subdivisions of Ward 3, and then on the 26th, I have another one with the 2 subdivisions in Ward 1. We're trying to compile a list of people that are interested. We got $300,000 from the state to install street lights. The people in the audience don't know, there's an ordinance on the books that was about 30 years ago that mandates all new construction street lights are put in. So that meant, 30 years later, about half the city has them, half the city doesn't, prior to that. So I was able to get $300,000 for a safety program and a crime safety program, and we're gonna see if anybody's interested in putting them in the older subdivisions. We have the technology to do that now that we didn't have a few years ago because of the street light or the telephone poles are in the rear of the property in most instances. Where in the newer subdivisions, it's street side underground. So anyway, thank you very much, and we still haven't solved the problem of Bay Shore has the HOA. The rest of the subdivisions, anyone else that's interested, to my knowledge, there is no HOA still existing out there in these older subdivisions. So we still have to figure out how we're going to build them. I talked to the representative from Ameren this weekend at a conference that I was at. I still made another run at him to say with computer technology today, isn't there some way that we can do that? And he is still insistent that this is a public service commission issue. And so when I go back up to Jefferson City, I'll take another run at them. If there's no questions, I'm done. I'd like to give about 3 minutes.
You're doing fine.
You got a minute left?
There you go. Anybody have any questions?
Well, just as a reminder for folks that weren't here, last week, the city council approved the expenditure of $38,000 and change to pay Ameren to actually put in the streetlights themselves. What the next part is going to be is to hire a contractor, put it out for bids, to do the subsurface boring, to run the conduit from the power source out to those lights, and then run wires through them. So anyway, that's coming up.
If we have an HOA in our ward that is interested, who do they call?
Call the acting city administrator. My job was
Everybody call me.
Yeah, my job was to get the money out of the state budget, which, as I've expressed to you before, coming before you, is not easy. That it's a pilot program, the $300,000. The last thing I want to do is return any of the money to the state. So we have an extension now for what is another year to get this money expended. And I sure don't want to turn it back in, because what we do, if we do that, then the next time I ask for money, like for stormwater control out of Ward 1, it's going to be a little tougher to do when the budget people up there said, well, you didn't spend the money that we gave you last time. So folks, we've got to make sure we have a diligent effort to be able to, we've got to put our heads together and figure out how we're going to build these people that don't have HOAs in.
Thanks, Lou.
So thank you very much.
About 14
Can I get a card? Can I get one of your cards, please?
Thank you, Phil. All right, is there anybody else? Okay, moving on to our consent agenda. Tammy, did you discuss that? I think that's correct.
Yes, there was a slight scrivener's error. The July 7th special council meeting minutes, those were actually approved last week, so that is not going to be on the consent agenda tonight. Items on tonight's consent agenda are minutes from the July 10th, 2025 meeting. Payroll warrant number T00870 in the gross pay amount of $445,140.23. And general warrant number 5886 in the total pay amount of $855,282.81.
Thank you. For the city council, I make a motion for approval.
I'll make a motion.
Gary, second. Michael? Roll call vote, please.
TJ Fleischman,
Yes.
Gary Plum,
Yes.
Brian MacArthur,
Yes.
Michael Reschmeyer,
Yes.
Troy Blackshear,
Yes.
Rodney Mullins,
Yes.
Tim Seidenstricker,
Yes.
7 yeas.
Okay, moving on to ordinances, we've got bill number 2906.
Bill number 2906, an ordinance approving a change of zoning from R3 Residence District to R4 Residence District for 2162 Londell Road, a 3.95 acre tract of land described as US Survey 2991, part of Lot 1, and Mount Sterzik, lots 5 and 6, Jefferson County, Missouri.
Okay, if you now we're on this, please explain.
Well, of course, we talked about this at the public hearing, but I'll just reiterate that, well, if you vote to approve tonight, that will approve the zoning, but it will still have to come back before you for the subdivision plat, and that's when where the street layout, and the lot layout, and the stormwater, and all that is memorialized and recorded with the county. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Any comments from the city council? You guys have already been through this on the public hearings that we anything to say, Bob?
Just to let council know, a simple majority is needed to pass.
Thank you. Okay, Tammy, a second reading, please.
Bill number 2906, an ordinance approving a change of zoning from R3 Residence District to R4 Residence District for 2162 Londell Road. The 3.95 acre tract of land described as US Survey 2991, part of Lot 1, and Mount Sterzik, lots 5 and 6, Jefferson County, Missouri.
Last chance, fellas, Brian?
Yeah, I would just like to say a couple of things. You know, I get a lot of what the residents, again, like I think most everybody knows, I've been on planning commission for about 2 decades now, and I've been a trained planner for a long time. And you know, it really kind of is the same thing. You know, I mean, water, you know, roads, but you know, one thing that, you know, there has been other instances where some of the other larger lots have come in and wanting to do it, we turned them down a lot of times. That was because, you know, the road, you know, the roadway. You know, now we're getting the roadway being upgraded, you know, to add more traffic. You know, it's getting more modernized. And this is not going to be the last one you're going to see. There's about 3 or 4 other out there. Most of them are 20, you know, 11 acres, 10 acres, 12 acres. So what we do here tonight is set the precedence on future development. So I'm just not saying, you know, I've always seen this come in there, and I just want to make sure, because I know a couple of questions came up, mainly from Mike there, you know, that what the developer was saying is that, you know, our stormwater ordinances say that they cannot put out any more water than what is coming off of there now. So now what's going to happen is they have to hold that water back. And so now, instead of all that water that's down there now just free flowing into the creeks, however it wants to do, when they get all these, like say the road, you know, the roads, the houses, the roofs, all that have to be actually maintained now and then released at a certain flow rate that it doesn't increase the flow that it's coming on now. So really, actually, they could actually even reduce the flow that's coming into the creeks right now with doing that, and that's the whole reason that we have the stormwater. You know, I see a lot of stormwater on there. There's, you know, there's things we can do with it on the detention area that they've got in there. You know, like I say, with the road being upgraded, and you're going to see more coming in. Now that this road is going to be upgraded, you're going to see a lot more of those subdivisions. People wanting to put the subdivisions in over there. You know, like I say, everything today, it's going to affect those. So just another couple of tidbits out there from the planning side.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, roll call vote.
E.J. Fleischman?
Yes.
Gary Plum?
Yes.
Brian MacArthur?
Yes.
Michael Rethmeyer?
Yes.
Troy Blackshear?
Yes.
Rodney Mullins?
Yes.
Tim Seidenstricker?
Yes.
7 yeas.
Okay, Bill 2907.
Bill number 2907, an ordinance approving a change of zoning from R5 Residence District to establish a C4 planned commercial district for 1081 West Outer Road, a 0.19 acre tract of land described as Arnold Terrace Block 2, parts of lots 7 and 8, Jefferson County, Missouri.
What do you again, David?
Nothing to add on this one. We'll see if any questions for me.
Nobody? Second reading, if you would, please.
Bill number 2907, an ordinance approving a change of zoning from R5 Residence District to establish a C4 planned commercial district for 1081 West Outer Road, a 0.19 acre tract of land described as Arnold Terrace Block 2, parts 7 and 8, Jefferson County, Missouri.
Questions and comments one more time? Brad, thank you for trying to do this, because that building's been empty for a long, long time. Mr. Bailey used that business a lot, around here. We started to see it go, and we started to see it fall into disrepair, so I wish you well. Tammy, roll call vote, if you would, please.
E.J. Fleischman?
Yes.
Gary Plum?
Yes.
Brian MacArthur?
Yes.
Michael Rethmeyer?
Yes.
Troy Blackshear?
Yes.
Rodney Mullins?
Yes.
Tim Seidenstricker?
Yes.
7 yeas.
Okay, moving on to resolutions. Here's a resolution 25-42.
Resolution number 2542, a resolution approving a quote from Gerstner Electric for repair work to the traffic signal at Richardson Road and St. John's Church Road.
David, please explain.
I believe Brian talked about this at the last meeting. This is at the corner of St. John's and Richardson. The camera system that triggers the lights to change, you know, from green to red and whatnot, stopped working correctly. And as it turns out, that equipment is pretty obsolete, unrepairable, so it needs to be replaced. This quote is to replace it with modern cameras and software.
Questions, comments, Brian?
No. Thank you, this is finally coming up. You don't know how many calls I get constantly, and they're good calls. You know, I agree with them. I sit at that light all the time. There's nothing more aggravating than sitting there through a whole nother section when nobody's trying to turn. And I know a lot of it, we were waiting for some of the grants to come through, and things. So are we going ahead without the grant, or is this going to be put into the grant later?
That I'm not certain of.
Okay, that's what we might wanna look into, maybe we could add that into that, with the road, because I know a lot of times, you know, one of the things that, Judy always said they were waiting for was to kind of, as that all is gonna come in, you know, and I know that all wasn't gonna happen until 2026, so I was hoping we wouldn't wait that long. So, I'm glad moving forward, we might just wanna see if we can throw that into the grant, or if it comes up.
Judy is still around, she's actually
Yeah.
managing this project, so I'll pose the question to her and report back to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Very well. Have a motion for approval, please.
I'd like to make that motion.
Brian?
I'd like the second, please.
Let's just send that forward to team
Yes.
there. Thank you. Roll call, please.
EJ Fleischman?
Yes.
Gary Plum?
Yes.
Brian MacArthur?
Yes.
Michael Ritzmeyer?
Yes.
Troy Blackshear?
Yes.
Rodney Mullins?
Yes.
Tim Seidenstricker?
Yes.
7 yeas.
Okay, next resolution is 25-43.
Resolution number 2543, a resolution authorizing use of the city sales and use tax exemption before the full Chapter 100 legislative process is complete.
So at your last meeting, you authorized the engagement of Gilbert and Bell to start putting together the paperwork for the Chapter 100. What this does tonight allows the applicant, Acid Piping, to basically start ordering the materials and getting the sales tax rate that they would get through the Chapter 100 ahead of time, so they don't have to wait. And the reason they don't want to wait is supply chain issues that we all deal with and have been dealing with. You just need to get the order in early. This enables them to do that. The version in front of you is slightly different than the one that went out in the packet, and Mr. Sweeney can speak to that.
There's no substantive change to this, we just made some grammatical corrections. So the version that you've got still provides for the indemnification of the city should anything go awry. I think that the applicant is here to sign the letter tonight.
Very fine.
Oh, there, I had a message that they were, so they'll execute it this as soon as you approve.
Any questions or comments from the city council? You all know what's going on here, so, I'd like a motion for approval, please.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Rodney?
I'll second.
Troy? Roll call, vote, please.
EJ Fleischman?
Yes.
Gary Plum?
Yes.
Brian MacArthur?
Yes.
Michael Ritzmeyer?
Yes.
Troy Blackshear?
Yes.
Rodney Mullins?
Yes.
Tim Seidenstricker?
Yes.
7 yeas.
Tammy, I know you guys have a liquor license, meeting tonight.
And Chair Rodney will give us the report.
Yeah, so, we had a request for an extension of the premise. So specifically it's Cyber's Restaurant, and annually they do kind of a family event in the parking lot. So they're requesting an extension of their license to be outside of the building in the parking lot. That will be on August 9th from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. So we are requesting a motion and approval.
Sorry, that's what we need next is a motion and approval.
I'll motion that extension. And I'll second.
Thank you. Roll call, vote.
EJ Fleischman?
Yes.
Gary Plum?
Yes.
Brian MacArthur?
Yes.
Michael Ritzmeyer?
Yes.
Troy Blackshear?
Yes.
Rodney Mullins?
Yes.
Tim Seidenstricker?
Yes.
7 yeas. That's all from Liquor Mayor.
Thank you. A motion to approve this conditional use permit, David, for Planet Fitness?
Yeah, I didn't realize I'd be the one doing all the talking. So, the former Arnold Bowl site, if you haven't noticed, there's a lot of activity there. They're refilling and regrading the site to, it's not gonna be the same level as Jeffco, but it's gonna be a big improvement from where it was with the bowling alley. It's gonna be Planet Fitness, and they would like to put up a new, what we call commercial center sign. That's the large identification sign that you see at shopping centers that requires a conditional use permit. It went before the planning commission on July 8th, and by vote of 9-0, recommended for approval. As a CUP, no action on your part, and this stands approved. Otherwise, you're certainly welcome to vote on it. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
City Council, PJ?
Yeah, I know this motion is specific, or this conditional use permit is specifically for the sign, but has the planning, or the Planet Fitness itself, has that already gone through the process?
It's gone through site plan review some time ago. It's just, sometimes development takes a long time.
So there will be no further action on that specific, I mean.
No, they're ready. They knew they had to do this back when they did the site plan, and they forgot.
Okay, perfect.
Anybody else? You guys good? If there's no, if there's a need to take a vote, we will do so. Otherwise, if we don't need to take a vote on it, it stands approved. Okay, thank you all. Next one will be for Berliner Beauty Institute.
So this conditional use permit is for Valera Beauty Institute. It's at the, sad to say, the former Sable Lot location. This is basically a technical school to teach folks to cut hair and whatnot. Technical schools require conditional use permits to make sure there's adequate parking and what have you. And by a vote of 9-0, the planning commission recommends its approval. And again, as a CUP, no action on your part, it stands approved. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Your turn. You guys good? No questions? No comments?
I can't get no further anymore.
I just like to make one comment. At the planning, of course, the planning zoning, we saw some of the plans, and the inside of this place is just absolutely beautiful. I've never seen, when they first talking about a beauty institute, I'm thinking, okay, it's gonna be pretty nice, but I mean, this is something they should almost have people coming into just to see. I mean, so it's really gonna be a nice upgrade. Again, hate to see the State Lot go to the point. You know, I mean, always, I mean, they've been a stable there quite a while, but at least we're getting something in there that is really going to be nice. Unfortunately, it's not gonna generate a whole lot of sales tax again, but it seems like the only place we can get those, they wanna be around the big box stores. You know, all the technical places, all the doctor's offices, everything just seem to wanna go in these, small strip malls, and that's all we can get in there anymore, so. But at least this will be nice.
With a little luck, the beauty school students will be getting gas.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, you'll get some of that, yeah. It definitely is. But yes, it's very nice. Glad to see it coming in.
Anyone else? And again, with no commentary, it stands approved unless you guys want to change that. All right. Thank you. It stands approved. Moving right along. Motion, one more time. Judy's Place and Bar. Judy's Place Bar and Cocktail Lounge.
So it's pretty self-explanatory as to what that is. This is a CUP to allow a bar cocktail lounge, to allow for a wine bar at 143 Crossroads Center. If you know where the cell phone repair store is, it's right to the left of that. Again, planning commission reviewed this, and by a vote of 9-0, they recommended its approval, subject to 6 conditions in the packet in front of you. I'd be happy to answer any questions, and once again, no action on your part in this thing.
DJ?
Yeah, when I first saw this, I was kind of intrigued by it. But the more I've learned about it, I think it's kind of a unique opportunity for the community. I've been to other communities where they do have some wine bar type, kind of not your typical bar, and I think that's going to be something different for our community, and I'm excited to see how this turns out.
From what I understand, I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
From what I understand, this is gonna be a coffee bar and a wine bar. They're planning on serving coffee in the morning and wine in the evening. Just so you know, so from like 6 to 1:30, it's supposed to be open.
No food. No food. EJ drinks in the morning though.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. It's really gonna be interesting. I hope it goes through. There's a couple of young guys that are trying to get it, a couple of entrepreneurs that are trying to get started. So I wish them all the luck on it. It is going to be something a little bit unique, something that we don't have. So it's kind of nice to have some of those things come in. I wish them all the luck.
Thanks, David. Again, this will stand approved unless you guys have any objections to it. Conditional use permit stands approved. David, a motion to hold a closed session after this meeting?
Yes, this is a motion to hold a closed session immediately following this meeting pursuant to RSMO 610.021, subparagraph 17.
Okay, get a motion and a second. Sorry, Michael?
I'll second.
Gary? Roll call, please.
E.J. Fleischman?
Yes.
Gary Todd?
Yes.
Brian MacArthur?
Yes.
Michael Redmeyer?
Yes.
Roy Blackshear?
Yes.
Rodney Mullins?
Yes.
Tim Steigenstricker?
Yes.
7 yeas.
Okay, this report's from the mayor and the council. You guys go first on this one. Obviously, you know, we have to solicit interest in getting a replacement for a Ward 3 city council person. And I've gotten a lot of interest in it due to, sorry about that, David. And we're gonna start looking at that, from Monday. We're gonna come down. It's gonna take us a week or two to get this. We're got one that's a little bit more important right now, that we need to, replace Brian, who's leaving to go back to Platte City, or going to Platte City, it was on the Kansas City side of the state. And, we're gonna be working on that. We've already got a procedure for a process put in place. We worked on that a couple days ago, and we've received several applications. I think we're up to over 10 now. And we're expecting more by next week, but, you know, the application process is gonna be open until August 1st. That's when we're gonna start, coming through the applications. Some of them look good, some of them are, you know, interested, but we'll see what happens. And that's all I got for today. City Council, Rodney?
Nothing to report.
Kind of like you. Brian?
No, we've covered quite a bit tonight. It was an interesting meeting with planning and zoning. You got to see most of what we did, so, I think that's about it. I'm glad to see those lights come in. I thought about it before, but sure, find them.
No report. I just wanna make a note that Ferguson Park, they may vary, the sign's looking pretty bad. You could get it maybe painted and shine it up a little. I mean, they just put a new playground in, how much did that cost?
Quite a bit.
Yeah, so I think we can try to clean up the sign somewhat too. I was gonna talk to David.
I'll make sure he does.
We should see David next week. Troy, you already been through the part, Michael, and EJ now?
No report, Mayor.
Okay. Sir?
No report.
Gary?
Yes, the Veterans Commission held a meeting last night, and we're starting to plan for the Veterans Parade, which is being November the 7th, it's earlier than usual. Because Veterans Day is earlier than usual. So anybody who'd like to participate, please feel free to contact the Veterans Commission. You can look online or contact me or Rodney, and join us on November the 7th.
Thank you, Gary. Administrative reports, David?
I'll keep it short. First, I just want to thank you all for entrusting me and being the interim city administrator. Sitting up here, it feels kind of like the first time you're at the adult table at Thanksgiving. But I look forward to working hard with you all, and I hope that we can keep the city running in a smooth manner and keep things going in a positive direction.
Thank you.
No report, Mayor.
Yes, sir, just two quick things. Chief let me fill in, so we get some money. So I talked to you all before about the Blue Shield designation, so that money, that grant process did open up just a couple weeks ago, so we jumped on that, submitted that application 2 days ago. So we purchased 15 insurance. So hopefully that will be approved quickly and get that money going and get those computers purchased. And then the other thing, Rodney mentioned the cyber thing, we're gonna have a couple officers in the dunk tank for their event. So they're gonna raise some of the money, it's gonna be donated back to our Florida program. So cool. Dunk a couple policemen.
Any of them in the room?
I'll do it.
What about the chief? What about the chief? What about the chief?
We're too tall, you gotta be short.
Oh, yeah.
No report, Mayor. David's absent tonight. Constantine?
No report, Mayor.
Okay, with that, I'm gonna need to have about a 5 to 10 minute recess for, going to closed session. So thank you all for your time.